Welcome to the next video. And in this video, as you saw, we're continuing the van build and we're going to be installing the Dometic RTX 2000 12-volt air conditioner and the Maxxair Fan Deluxe on the roof. And what I'm going to be doing is cutting out the hole for it and then gluing down these adapters. And then we can go ahead and get the fan and AC dropped on top and sealed in. And I like to show that I'll be using a adapter that's made from DIY Van. And I'm a big advocate of using quality products that will make your build installation a lot easier. So they make a product that's CNC cut to your specific install. So they have a adapter for the Maxxair Fan, which is right here. It's a 14-inch by 14 square hole, but it's CNC'd to the ridges on the top of your roof. So when it sits, you glue it down here and it creates a seal, and then right on top of this, it gives you a flat surface to mount your fan to. And the same for the Dometic RTX 2000. Same thing. This is a expanded PVC is what they say. And as you can see, it has the ridges of the roof CNC'd. And pretty much you just lay it on there, glue it down, and then now you have a flat surface to install your air conditioning and fan to. So the tools you'll need for this install is pretty much a step bit drill. And then what I'm using is a air saw. And I'm using the air saw because it's a little easier when you're cutting through the ridges. You could use a jigsaw too, but you'll have to work through the ridges when you're cutting that. But this, I tested it on a little piece over here. It cuts like butter, so I should have no issues using this to cut through here. So I'm going to go ahead, bring the camera up on the roof, and start tracing the outline to cut, tape up the edges, and then I'm also going to tape up some plastic underneath to catch all the metal filings that get cut so they're not flying all over inside the van. And then once the holes are cut out, I'm going to put some primer around the edges to seal that up, and then we can go and get these adapters glued in. All right, let's get on the roof. Okay, we're on the roof, and I went ahead and already traced out the pattern of the hole from the adapters that were placed on the roof. So here is the Dometic RTX cutout with the holes that need to be drilled through. And then up there, you can see the Maxxair Fan hole that will be cut out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go in the van, plastic up everything underneath these things to catch all the filings in here and up there. And then I'm going to go ahead and start drilling out this hole here. I'm going to make a pilot hole so that I can fit the air saw in there and start cutting these pieces out. Now that we have both of the base adapters glued in to the roof and it's dried overnight, the next is to finish up the AC adapter by gluing in the spacer I have here, and then on top of this spacer will be the foam gasket that the AC will sit on top of it. And so what you have to do is spray some 3M90 on top of the spacer and then some 3M90 on the bottom of the foam gasket, and then you stick those together. And then once that's ready to go, you just take the spacer and the gasket, and then you do some Sikaflex 221 to glue it to the base adapter on the roof, and then that will finish up the sandwich of the base, spacer, and then the gasket. And then from there, you can drop the AC on top with a bead of silicone around on the foam gasket. So let's go ahead and prep the spacer and the foam gasket, get that ready, and then once that's all dried up and ready, we'll go ahead and Sikaflex 221 it on top of the roof adapter. Now that the 3M90 is sprayed on, I'm going to put these center punches in the holes just so that when this is ready to bond together, I have a lining point so I could just slide them over the center punches and get it aligned. Now that the gasket's on there, glued in, I'm going to lay a few beads around the spacer of the Sikaflex 221 and then bring it up on the roof and glue it on. I ran out of black 221, so I have some white 221, same stuff, just different color. And since this is the inside bead, you're not going to see it, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we have a couple things left to install for the Maxxair Fan now that the roof adapter is glued down and cured. So what we have here is the Maxxair Fan adapter that gets mounted to the roof adapter. So what we're going to do is we have some 1-inch butyl tape that we'll put around the edge here to seal it. Then we're going to mount this on top of the roof. Go ahead and drill out some pilot holes so that we can mark out where the screws come through the ceiling. And then once we have those marks, I'll be able to install the interior framing strips that these screws will bite into. And that will be this. So what I will be doing is inside the van, it would look something like this, right? Actually, it's upside down. Would look something like that. And then these screws would bite down into these to clamp and secure it in. So once I have those marks from the pilot holes, I'll be able to place these and glue them into the van roof ceiling, or actually to the interior ceiling of the van. Glue them in with some Sika 221 so that we have the interior framing strips in, and then that way we have somewhere to actually screw down the Maxxair Fan adapter to so that it can bite. Okay, so let's go ahead, put some butyl on this, get this mounted in on the ceiling. So once I have the butyl on here and this is on the ceiling, this isn't coming off. So I'm just going to drill the pilot holes, like I said, and then prime up those holes that pop through in the interior of the van ceiling. And then this will be pretty much mounted in with the butyl. Now that we have the internal frames glued up inside of the van with it screwed down, the next step is to apply a layer of Dicor self-leveling lap sealant around the screw, down over the adapter, onto the roof of the van. Okay, while we're waiting for the lap sealant and glue to cure on the Maxxair Fan, I'm going to switch over to the Dometic RTX 2000 install and get the interior framing strips set up, and then we're going to go ahead and glue it in. So I already have the framing strips assembled here, and I transferred the bolt holes that go through the ceiling to where it would attach to the Dometic RTX unit. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and drill out these holes so that the M8 stud or bolt will go through this and then screw into the Dometic RTX. So what I did was I counterbored a 3/4 inch hole so that the bolt that will secure the AC unit will sit flush with the bottom of this. So now I'm going to go ahead and drill out the bolt hole that will go all the way through. Now that we have it all drilled out, basically how this is going to work is This will get glued up to the roof, and this stud or bolt will be coming through from the AC unit. And so it'll go through the hole. You'll have your washer in there, like so. And then you will have your nylon lock nut. Just like that. On all four. And then this will compress down the AC unit and keep it secure. So next steps is to go ahead and get this glued in. The last step of installing the Maxxair fan to the roof is you just have to place it on top of the adapter bracket here and screw in the 4 screws on the sides of it to secure it in. And just a tip, it's a little difficult to get the screws to line up because you kind of have to compress down the air fan onto this seal here, and it's very tight. So what you want to do to make it a little easier is you can pop these, I guess, clips up a little higher so that you can get some clearance on your screw when you come in from the side. And so popping this a little higher will give you the right amount of clearance you need to get this in there without struggling. And what I do is I kind of just pop it up enough where this little ledge right here on the clip lines up with the top of the plastic here. So you can see about, I don't know, about 1/8. Do it on all 4 clips. And then when you put on the fan on top, you should have some clearance in there where you can get that screw in there and get it to bite. So I'm going to go grab the fan right here, drop it on top, get it screwed in, and we'll be finished installing the fan. You want to make sure that you don't get your wires caught up when you're dropping it down on top. Okay. Make sure it's seated on that seal. Looks good. Now you can see, I can't see on the camera, but you can see the screw hole now on there. So just take your screws, go ahead and press down a little bit. Should be able to get the screws worked in there. Now that the screws are on there, all we have to do is just peel off the plastic, which is so satisfying. Nice. All right. There it is. So I'm going to go inside the van and manually lower the vent hood so you can see what it looks like when it's fully closed. Here's a quick clip of the inside of the van with the fan installed, and then the interior framing strips that's glued in. There it is, fully closed. I'm going to get a nice side angle here so you can see how far it sticks above the roof. And this here is 3 inches, so it looks like probably sticks out another 3 inches above the roof rack. But it's pretty low profile. I'm happy with the install. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next video, see you guys.